Hey y'all, this is Gina. I know I hadn't cooked with you guys in a while, so I decided I would go ahead and kind of film what I was doing tonight. This is one of my favorite dishes, and I kind of wanted to share it with you. So, tonight is going to be Southern Syren shrimp and grits. So, yeah, this is the way I make my shrimp and grits. So, I figured you could just kind of follow along. I'll throw all the ingredients up in the description below the video so you don't have to write it all down as we're going. Super simple recipes. Again, I like to do super simple. So, yeah, let's get started. So, I'm going to go ahead and start my grits. I've got the water on to boil. I have 3 cups of water in there. I'm going to add, once it starts boiling, I'm going to add 1 cup of grits to it. I'm out of my stone mill grits, which is kind of sad, but I'm just going to use regular old grits. It's fine. We're going to use regular old grits. I'm trying to use stuff I have around here, so I don't have to go out to the store. But, so yeah, we've got 3 cups of water in there. I'm going to add 1 cup of grits. After I do that, we're going to be adding in butter and, first of all, some milk. Yes, milk. That's what makes them nice and creamy, guys. Cream makes them creamy. Who knew? But, yeah, we're going to add some milk in and some butter. And then I'm going to throw some really nice old world cheddar on it to give it a nice little twang. And then we'll have the grits to go with it. Now, or the grits, excuse me, the shrimp to go with it. Now, we're going to get the grits started. I'm going to turn them way down. I got it turned up on high right now to get it boiling. So we're going to get that water boiling and get it to the temperature it needs to be, and then I'm going to throw the grits in. I'm going to turn it way down so it can be cooking, because I like to cook my grits for a long time. Put them on low and just let them go. So we're going to get that going, and once that water gets boiling and I've thrown those grits in there, I'll come back with you guys. Okay, so my water came up to a boil. I dumped my grits and I've already poured in 1 cup of whole milk. You can also use half and half if you want to, or cream. But I just use whole milk in there, which seems to work perfectly fine. So that's in there with that. We're going to let that cook. We put it on low. It's like, not quite medium low, but I'll turn it down as we're going. But I'm going to let it come back up to temperature after I add that milk. And then I'm going to turn it way down. So next up, what we have to concern ourselves with is the shrimp for this recipe. So I got out my old antique Wagner ware cast iron Dutch oven, which I love to use. I love to use cast iron anyway, as I said before, but I'm going to use the Dutch oven for this recipe. So I got this bad boy out, and I'm going to grab my bacon to go in here. I should have grabbed it when I took a little break there, but I forgot it. So I'm going to grab it right now, and then we're going to start cooking that bacon up. Okay, y'all. So I'm trying not to cover up the screen with my fingers. So I have in here 3 slices of bacon. Now, I kind of cut it up in little pieces so it doesn't take so long to fry it up. I don't like to stand and fry bacon forever, and this calls for, the pieces to be cut anyway. So you might as well do it before you cook it, right? So we've got our bacon in here. We are going to fry it up all nicely, and we're going to reserve this grease. We're not going to throw it away. We're going to actually use this grease for our shrimp because, honestly, bacon grease gives great flavor. I know a lot of people are just like, ew, bacon grease. It gives fantastic flavor to dishes. And just know going in, this is not going to be like a heart-healthy dish. It is shrimp, but everything that's going into the shrimp and alongside of the shrimp is not good for you. So know that. I'm not even playing around about that. It's the truth. But we're going to get this bacon fried up nice and like a nice translucent clear, what my kids used to call floppy bacon. We're going to get it floppy. I don't want it real crunchy. So I'm just going to get that all fried up in here. And then we're going to come back and add the rest of our ingredients that we need for this shrimp. So at this point, while you're frying your bacon, go ahead and get your oven preheating up to 375. Go ahead and get that turned on so that when you're ready for it, you got that oven up to 375. You may have a fast oven. Mine's old and slow, so it takes it a minute. But it still cooks really good, so. Alright, so this is going to be done in just a minute. I'm going to go stir my grits, finish this off, and then we'll be right back. Alright, so I got this bacon turned down to medium, and it's looking pretty sweet there. So we're going to go ahead and add all the rest of our ingredients, except for the shrimp. We're going to add the other stuff, all of our flavorings, essentially. So what we have here, I'm going to show you the spice concoction here. So this is going to be chili powder, which is 1.5 teaspoons of chili powder. And then I have 1/4 of a teaspoon of basil. I have 1/4 of a teaspoon of thyme. And that's my black pepper, is 1 teaspoon black pepper. Then over there is 1/2 teaspoon of oregano. And then right here in the center, I have 2 tablespoons of Old Bay. So that's our spice mixture. I'm going to go ahead and throw that in, so the spices can be getting into that oil and working around and getting happy in there with that oil. But we don't want it to burn, so we got to hurry. Alright, so on top of that, we've got to put in some garlic and we're going to go ahead and put this in first. My butter. Y'all, it's 2 sticks. It is 2 sticks of butter. I know. I told y'all it wasn't healthy. You got bacon grease and butter, but it's delicious. So, don't hate. So let's get that going around in there. Get that butter melting. Yum, yum. Ooh, the smell coming off of that. Honey. Honey, honey. You don't know. You just don't know. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and get our garlic. It calls for 2 cloves of garlic, which I already have garlic chopped up, so I'm just going to pop it in there. But it's 2 whole cloves of garlic crushed, but I buy the pre-chopped, so I just use that. And I put in what would be the equivalent of 2 cloves of garlic from that. Which, if you buy that, it says it on the side of your container. Again, when I'm cooking, I kind of just throw stuff together. I don't really measure everything out specifically and perfectly. I kind of just do it and then look at it. I'm sure a lot of you do that as well. Alright. To that, we're going to add our Dijon mustard, which is, I've forgotten how much I've used. I think it's 2 tablespoons of a good Dijon, whatever kind you want to use, Grey Poupon or whatever you got around the house. And then we're also going to add some hot sauce. Hot sauce. Now, you use as much or as little of this hot sauce as you want. I just use a little bit, because you know I don't like real spicy foods. So, you know, about a half of a teaspoon to a teaspoon, depending on how spicy you like it. Ooh, it smells so good. It smells so good. The butter's nearly melted down in there. And y'all, that's all that goes in there. So we're going to let that simmer for about 5 minutes. I'm going to turn it way down. I'm going to let it simmer for about 5 minutes with the lid on it. And then we're going to come back and we're going to put that beautiful shrimp in there. Now, it's the shrimp I use today I'm using today is actually frozen shrimp. I didn't have any fresh at home, and I did have some frozen in the freezer. So I just got it out. And you need about 1.5 pounds of shrimp for the amount of liquid you have in the sauce. So get you about 1.5 pounds to go in this. And it can be medium, it can be large, it can be whatever, but leave that shell on. I know some people are against the shell. I understand. Some people are anti-shell. But I'm telling you, leave that shell on, because that's where that flavor gets in there into that shrimp. So you can peel it off when you're eating it. It's okay. Or you can do like me and half the time just eat the shell too. But leave that shell on while you're cooking it at least. So get you some shell on shrimp. About 1.5 pounds of that. You can use the frozen or the fresh. And that's what we're going to put in this when we come back in a few minutes from this simmering. Alright, y'all, so this is what it's going to kind of look like. I know, it kind of looks like a mud pie or something. I don't know. But it don't matter. Because the way it tastes is simply divine. So, it's going to be kind of watery looking because you got all that butter in there and everything that's melted right now. And you got little chunks of bacon and all your spices. But in this, you turn your stove off. Into this hot right here. You pour them shrimp. You just pour them right on in there. And kind of coat them around a little bit. Get them down all in all that goodness. Make sure you use raw shrimp. You don't want pre-cooked because it won't take up the flavor. And it'll get rubbery. So get them all down in there. Get them happy. Get a blanket of that sauce around them. Get them comfortable. Down in that beautiful sauce. And then we're going to put that lid on them. And we're going to stick them in this oven right here. So let me get my lid on there. Get that lid on there. And then I'm going to have to turn the camera off because y'all know my hands don't work. But I'm going to stick this hot cast iron skillet right in that oven at 375. And we're going to cook it like that for 20 minutes. 20 minutes. We're going to cook this shrimp. I know that seems like a long time for shrimp. And usually I wouldn't cook shrimp that long. But it's going to be about 20 minutes. I'm going to check it at 15. If the shrimp look like they're done, then we're going to pull it out at 15. But it usually goes about 20. So we're going to check at 15 minutes at 375. We're going to check at 15 minutes and see if those shrimps have, shrimp have kind of closed up, contracted, and turned a nice pink color. If so, then we're going to pull it out. So I'm going to go do this, and then after our shrimp has done cooking and I get that out, we're going to finish off those grits. We're going to plate it up, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. So come on back. Alright, so I checked at 15. They weren't quite as done as what I wanted to be, so I let them go for 20, and this is what it looks like when they come out. Beautiful. They've been sitting here for just a minute on the stove while I was getting my phone and everything ready. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So that's about the way you want them to look. You don't want to overcook them because they get rubbery, and you don't want rubbery shrimp. So we're going to put the top back on that so they stay nice and hot, and we're going to finish out our grits. So let's go ahead and throw that top back on there and go over here to the grits. So our grits have been cooking on low this whole time that I've been doing the shrimp, and I haven't added any butter or anything yet to them. Now normally when I'm cooking grits, I'd add a ton of butter. But since there's so much butter in our salsa over there, I'm not going to add as much as what I normally would. This is going to be probably about 3/4 of a stick of butter that I'm going to add in here. I'm just going to add it with my fingers because I'm holding my phone. I can't do it all at one time. So about 3/4 of a stick of butter is going to go in there to melt up. And then while that's melting, we're going to add in our cheese. Now the cheese that I'm using today is a strong cheese. It's a nice strong cheddar. It is this this old world cheddar here. Aged sharp cheddar. And it's a white cheese. So that's what I'm going to put in today. I've used regular yellow cheddar. I've used goat cheese. I've used all kinds of stuff in my grits before. But I chose to use this nice sharp cheddar in here today. I had it in the refrigerator. And I like to use stuff that I have instead of having to go out and buy all new ingredients for a recipe. So I kind of just cubed it up a little bit so it melt a little bit quicker for us. And I'm only going to be using about half of that pack because, like I said, it is a very strong. That's 7 ounces. I think, no, what did it say? Yeah, 7 ounces. So about 3.5, 4 ounces in there. But I don't want it to overpower our shrimp. So that's why I'm kind of just putting enough in there to make it nice and cheesy, but not overpowering. So we're going to let that melt down in there. And this is when you would season your grits. I put a little salt and a little pepper in my grits. That's all. That's all I put in my grits when I'm doing them. And again, you've got so many spices in those shrimp that you don't want to overspice your grits. You kind of just want it to be a base for your shrimp and that sauce that's in there. So that's why I'm doing it that way. Now, you know, if I was just making cheese grits in the morning or something to go with eggs and that kind of thing, I would have more cheese in it. I would have more butter in it. And, you know, the salt and the pepper. But I don't want to make it to where you can't taste the shrimp anymore. You know what I'm saying? The shrimp is the star. This is just kind of the bed for it. This is just the way to get it in your mouth. So I'm going to let that cheese melt up. I'm going to add salt and pepper. You add salt and pepper to taste, however you like it. Some people don't like much salt. Some people like stuff real salty. So you add it to taste. And we're going to let that cheese melt up. And then I'm going to plate it up and show you what it looks like. Alright guys, so here is the finished product. I know it's not the prettiest dish in the world, but oh my gosh, the flavor makes up for it. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, you need to make sure that you have some nice crusty French bread over to the side. I know you got grits here, but I'm telling you, your family is going to be wanting to dip that bread in that sauce. I'm not even kidding with you. So I'm going to just get this because I can't eat the shrimp while I'm on the holding this because it's just too hard for me. So I'm going to let it cool. I got to blow on it a second. Oh my gosh. Woo. Delicious. Nice. It's got a lot of flavor. It's got a little hint of heat to the back of your throat as you're eating it. It is so good. And those shrimp right there, I'm telling you right now, you grab one of those up, you suck on it, pull that shell off, dip it down in all that mess, and eat it. Oh, honey, it's going to just pop in your mouth, and it's going to be like, where have you been my whole life? So make sure you try this out if you like shrimp. It's a great recipe. And like I said, this is my version, the Southern Syren version of shrimp and grits. I know everybody does a little bit different way, but this is the way I like it. It's kind of got a New Orleans flair to it. So have a great rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed this. And like I said, I will be putting a list of the ingredients down underneath this video so you can jot them down instead of having to write it as you're watching the video. So go out, get your stuff that you need for this. You probably have a lot of this already in your house. Go out and grab what you need to and make this for dinner tonight. And your husband, your wife, your kids, whoever's there, they're going to be happy that you did. But be prepared. They may want you to do it again. So, guys, have a great one. I will see you around the way. I appreciate you watching. Make sure you subscribe if you aren't already. And please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, because it really does help my channel out a lot. And go ahead and leave me a comment down there below. Especially if if you've tried it, if you like it, if you want to change something, whatever. Just give me a comment and let me know what you think. So, see you soon. Stay kind, stay blessed, and stay safe. And I'll see you this next week. Bye, guys.